Video we're going to talk about the outpatient department workflow and the patient journey, which is what we're going to see in this particular video. All right, so let's get started with the patient visiting the OPD department. Okay, and this is where his first interaction starts, and that would be with the registration staff. So with the registration staff, he would, moment the patient approaches with an appointment, which he could have got from the patient portal, or he could reach out to the registration staff and secure an appointment. The first thing that happens is registration staff will go ahead and check if the patient is existing in the system. That's the first check. If the patient is present or not present is the next question. But today we're going to talk about a new patient journey. So they would go ahead and secure a patient's national identity. Okay, with the national identity, their records would be created. Okay, first they would create a profile for the patient in the system. And all of this is happening coherently so that the data is flowing from one region to another. If the patient is not found in the system, which is true for a new patient, okay, the EMR is updated. Okay, registration is created. Okay, now this is the first and the most important step. When registration has been created, the right services have to be assigned. That means to the right department. Okay, and obviously every visit will have some kind of consent form that has to be filled in by the patient, saying that he is okay to go ahead with the services provided by the organization. So the first department that we're going to look into is the registration desk. So it's the clerk who is the person or the personnel who will be in touch with the patient or interacting with the patient. Okay, the first check would be about the appointment. Okay, is there an appointment which is existing? They will go ahead and confirm the appointment. If not, appointment would be created and ensure all the registration details that is required for the appointment are captured. And this is what I would say, assigning the right service. If the patient is coming in for a dermatological consultation, he has to be assigned to the right department. Okay, and the right doctor has to be assigned. So this is the most important thing that happens right at the beginning. So in turn, the patient data will be sent to the right department and to the right physician, and thus a visit has been successfully created at this point of time. So all the information, all the interactions that happen are so important. Once the patient has been registered and the data has been primed, okay, and the patient is ready for the visit, the patient will be marked in as checked in. So once this is done, it means the patient is now at the vicinity. Okay, and that means he is ready to come forward for the services. Okay, then the next interaction would be with the nurse, who will first go ahead and say, I'm starting with the documentation. So nurse is will go ahead and mark it as nurse seen, and the nurse would complete their initial assessment. Okay, and along with that they would go ahead and complete recording of the vitals. They would go ahead and review the history, append the history. Okay, they have a set of tasks that they have to complete. So once we go into the nursing workflow, we would elaborate further. Then now, after the nursing interaction is completed, the patient is directed to the waiting room. Okay, so once the physician is free, the physician would call in for the patient. So this is when the physician, in the meantime, will go ahead and find the patient data that is done by the nurses. Okay, and if there are any specifics, okay, that have to be captured from the registration module, it will be captured and sent to the physician. At the moment, this is a very important parameter, okay, where the physician goes ahead and starts his consultation. Now once he starts his consultation, the timer starts. Okay, then he would go ahead and review the patient clinical history, okay, then the present history, all the clinical documentation, which we will deal with it at a later stage. Okay, and all the activities are completed. If there are any special orders to be placed or regular orders to be placed, the physician will complete that, and he also completes every action that he has taken, okay, and it's documented. And if there is a follow-up appointment that is required, he would go ahead and issue a follow-up appointment also. And at the end of the day, once the consultation has been completed, the physician would go ahead and discharge the patient, or I would say he would end the consultation with the patient. So we also need to look into who are the key players who are involved in the OPD visit. We have spoken about the registration staff, then the nursing staff, the physicians, then we have the lab technicians, the RAD technicians, and the pharmacists. There can be many more, but it's just on a very high level. We are just highlighting them. And there's some of the important documents that are required while going on an OPD visit. Okay, these are all just a high level documentation. Identification card, that is a national identification card, the patient identification card, if there is any need for insurance card, and if there is any medical emergency card which is required. So this is a very overall a very high level overall view, okay, and here we talk about the orders being placed. Now if there are any orders that are placed by the physicians, they could be the laboratory orders. Okay, he's prescribed probably a few lab tests for him. Maybe there is a couple of radiology exams that is required. Okay, or he could also go ahead and refer the patient to another specialty if required. And finally, it would be the medications. Okay, so all of them do play an important role and do add to the patient journey. So once the order has been placed, if there is a lab order, it will be routed to the lab department, okay, where the lab technician will go ahead and look into the order, and then the collection happens, and then he would report it, and that data is sent to the electronic medical record, or in short we call it as EMR. And the status of the order has to be changed to completed, so the physician and others following up on this order will know that the order has been completed. The same thing happens with the radiology. Okay, they would go ahead with the order that is being placed, then they will perform the exam, they will report the exam, and finally it will be changed to completed status. All right, and with pharmacy, the same things do happen. Pharmacy will receive the request from the physician. They will go ahead and check on the reconciliation status. They will verify if there are any medication orders, and those medicines will be verified. Then they are prepared and dispensed, and also patient education happens at this particular point of time, which is very important. And then they are packed and verified accordingly, identified correctly, to ensure the right drugs are given to the right patient. So overall, this is how the workflow happens, and how the different teams interact, how the EMR system plays a role in sending the data from one section to another. And at the end of the day, all of them are working together to ensure the patient has got a very positive experience. That's really important for us to understand this workflow, because we need to know what element of data needs to move to which section, and who should be accessing that information at the right time to perform the right duties. If you have any questions, please do let us know. We will quickly go through your questions, and we are happy to address them at any time. Anyway, stay tuned, stay tight for the next video, and till then, thank you.